Hey guys, welcome to the SEO for Hire podcast. This is our first episode. SEO for Hire podcast will be co-hosted by myself, Josh Peacock, and my co-host Craig Dewart. And the reason we're doing this is just to bring on people in the SEO industry that are successful. Either they've got agencies or they made a big name for themselves. And we're just bringing them on, asking them some cool questions like how they got started, all the bumps, and like questions like what would you tell your 20-year-old self? And basically, the whole purpose of it is to motivate, educate, and entertain the people that are listening. And we hope you guys enjoy it. So we thought, what better way to start off the podcast by I'm interviewing Craig Dewart, who he's already been in the SEO industry for about 5 to 6 years now. He's already got two successful SEO companies. That's Link City and My Content Pal, and he's now my business partner in SEO for Hire. So yeah, he's in Andorra at the minute. So we just had about an hour long conversation of how he got started. But yeah, as I said, leave as much feedback as you want, and hopefully you guys like it. So yeah, enjoy. So here's the podcast.
Okay, so guys, welcome to the podcast. Today we are here with myself, Josh Peacock, and Craig Dewart. We're both going to be co-hosting SEO for Hire podcast. But today, just to start off, because it is our first podcast, we're just going to be interviewing Craig. Craig's been in SEO for 5 to 6 years. He's got two companies, My Content Pal and Link City. So yeah, we're just going to start off with the vibe we want to go for. Is we're just going to bring on anybody and everybody who's in the SEO industry. And hopefully you guys can learn a bit on the way. I'm brand new to SEO. I've only been learning the last few months. So we're just going to have some fun about it. We're going to go talk to people, learn stuff. Hopefully you get some value from it. So Craig, first of all, where are you today? Look at that.
I'm in Andorra, so if anyone that's followed me on Twitter will know that I've been in Barcelona the last few months, and I had to get out of the country because I'm a fugitive. No, I'm only kidding. I had to get out of the country for a few days because there's an SEO event on the 18th of November. Brexit law means I have to be home on the 17th of November. So Andorra isn't part of the EU, which means if I go to Andorra, I can buy time, which means I get to go to that conference. So yeah, I mean, it's for work reasons, obviously, but I can't say that it's been a bad
Andorra
trip.
doesn't have any taxes either, does it, Craig? Does that have anything to do with you out there, no?
Actually, no, it's got nothing to do with it. But yeah, I did find that out too. The thing is, though, I was on the way through. You can definitely tell there's a lot of rich people here because you go by the houses and they have helicopters parked outside. So, can't say you see that in Glasgow, but yeah, there's definitely some rich.
And what is it? It's just 3 hours outside of Barcelona, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you are clever and booked a hotel in the main city, but I chose a nice spa that was up the middle of a mountain. It took two buses and a minivan to get to. So it took me quite a while yesterday, but look at the mountains and it's beautiful, man. It's so worth it.
It
So
looks gorgeous.
I'm just chilling here. And to be fair, I've been really productive because it's just me. I'm just here alone, enjoying this. It's beautiful.
Nice. Right, well, we'll get started off. Craig, how did you first get introduced to SEO and what was your first job in it?
Right. So how I get into SEO? So, I was a bit lost when I was a teenager, like a lot of people. I actually did a year of programming, then I done fine art. I did that for 2 years, and during my fine art course, I started DJing, and let's just go make my own gig. So I started a club night, and that to realising it was quite hard to book venues out because a lot of venues would only be open at night. They were totally fine for daytime staff, they just would never be open. So I created something called Venue Guru, which was a venue hiring website. You could view the venue online, book it, figure out all the stuff, talk to the manager. Didn't need to be there in person. I then went and got investment for it, and basically what I did, there was just a ballsy little teenager and just chapped on everyone's door and said, "Can I get money?" And one of the guys I went to owned a record shop. So I went into this record shop and about maybe 7 or 8 times. The guy was never in it that owned it. And eventually the manager of the store just went, "Look, I'm just going to phone him and tell him you keep coming in." So he did. 5 minutes later, the owner phoned me back. I told him what I wanted, and he went, "Okay, I'll meet you in a coffee shop." And 15 minutes later, I met him in a coffee shop, pitched him my idea. He gave me investment. He taught me how to bootstrap a website, and this is where I started learning how to bootstrap stuff and how to. I really just learned about SEO there too. Time went on. Eventually, the startup didn't work out, which was a bit of a shame. But I was young, didn't really know what I was doing. I learned a lot in the process. We actually got quite a few decent venues on it, like Edinburgh Castle, Glasgow Council's venues were on it. But anyway, the guy that gave me the investment is called Colin Boyd, so you'll find him on Twitter as well. Colin took a chance on me, and then he offered me an internship. So I did a 3-month internship. After that, I became an apprentice. And then that was the start of my SEO journey.
And when was it? So you've got two companies. You've got My Content Pal and Link City. Which one came first?
So Link City actually came first. I started Link City, got that up to a decent amount of revenue, got a few solid clients, but then the pandemic just completely killed it. The pandemic, what happened back then was everyone panicked because no one had experienced this, so everyone just pulled their money out of market, and link building was the first thing to go. So lost all my clients, and basically that forced me to, it's a thing in we call it the brew, but it's basically just help from the government. They give you money, help you basically live. But at the time I was staying with my girlfriend, and we had a flat, and she earned something like 19,000 a year. The government deemed that we earned enough money to afford the flat and to basically live off of. So they basically said that my girlfriend had to pay for my food, the flat, the whole thing, which wasn't fair. So I had to hustle, man, and I wrote content, whatever I could to make some money. We managed to pick up a big contract for this guy. Where is it? Can't remember it, just outside Manchester. Big affiliate guy. Like, no one knows who he is. Doesn't really put his name out there. He wanted to build this site, and I wrote all of the content myself. The first month it was something like 200,000 words. It was insane. Like that's a lot. Like if you've ever written content before, you'll know how intense that is. And basically that full month, like I just got up in the morning, I'd write content in the morning, do 3,000 words in the morning. I'd take a break at lunch, do 3,000 in the afternoon, I'd take a break for dinner, do another 3,000. And that was my life for the full month. And that gave me enough money to, one, keep a bit of a bank, and then two, start My Content Pal. That was the start of My Content Pal. I realized there was a need for software optimized content. And that started off My Content Pal, which got us a lot of clients. There was a lot of mistakes made. Like the next 6 months was full of mistakes, but it built the foundations for My Content Pal. And we already built the foundations for Link City, so it was very easy to bring Link City back. And we had the leads now too, because anyone that came to My Content Pal, we could just go, hey, come and buy links. And they did, because we built the trust up through My Content Pal. So yeah, My Content Pal came first, which then led to us bringing, no, Link City came first, which led to My Content Pal, and then that brought back Link City.
And where would you say you spend most of the time now? Would you spend majority of your time on Link City or My Content Pal, or which way does it work?
It's kind of hard. I feel like, so the first 6 months of My Content Pal was insane. It was 14-hour days. It was probably, I'd say, like a last stance for me, because I'd had a lot of failings before that. Like, these weren't my first business ideas. Venue Guru was the first of many. And anyone that knows me throughout those years know I tried everything, anything from affiliate marketing to, like, we had this shitty social media service at one point that made some money. But there's a big comment there. Yeah, man, there's so many failings. So the first 6 months of My Content Pal, I'd never want to go through that again. And it led me to learning how to build processes, systemizing things, recruiting good people, because we hired a lot of good people. And we eventually stumbled on some really, really strong assets for My Content Pal. Amelia, that girl was a natural manager from the beginning. She invested in the company with her time, like passion, and we've got such a strong relationship now. But she helped me start My Content Pal up for the second time. So what I mean by that is I actually bought my business partner out in maybe late January, early February. Eventually bought him out fully by March. It probably took about 2 months. I don't know over the time frame. That whole period, we actually put a picture up on Twitter the other day of what I looked like in that period. And well, Josh, you can describe it. Like I remember days my mum like would be like, Craig, why are you doing this? Like my face was just chalk white. I was panicking because like for so long I didn't know if I could pay staff. At one point we had like something stupid like 100 writers, and I remember every month when I had to pay people, like it made me physically sick having to pay people because I didn't know like if we had enough money in the bank, and that's how like phone it was back then, which was just such a ropey way to start in a business. And it's because we'd made so many mistakes, like we didn't price ourselves high enough. We tried to do it. We tried to be the quickest. We tried to be the highest quality, and like we tried to do it all, and it just didn't work. So our turnaround times now are slower, but the quality is significantly higher. Yeah, there's just so many things that went wrong that we've now fixed. And my content power is running so smoothly now to the point I don't need to look at it for days. The team is just growing it. And all I do now is just network with people. We're putting a lot more effort into marketing now, so you'll see a lot more marketing stuff coming out. Our plans to scale to 5 million words a month.
How many are you doing at the minute?
Probably about 700,000. So
big,
not
big
that
jump.
much.
So take us through the process. So if you're doing 600, 700,000 at the minute, what way are you gonna get to 5 million?
Well, here's the thing, right? So before we used to charge 5 cents a word. That was our thing, which is insane. Like it's just not enough to charge. And we nearly broke 1 million, right? And we done it on a model that didn't work. So our model was to hire students from like prestigious universities like Oxford, Cambridge, Durham, like things like that. So they were clever kids that were used to pumping out essays. They were used to, yeah, they were just clever kids. They needed a job part time, but that was the problem. It was part time. So the problem was they would do content, but then their essays came first, or maybe they went out and then maybe they were out. Either way, we were getting like 2,000-3,000 words off of one person a week, which isn't enough. Now our writers do between 10 and 20,000, so there's less people to manage. Now the only reason we haven't scaled up this year is because, if I'm really honest, I just got comfortable with my content pal. For me this year, I went through a bit of a period where I'd hit all my goals. Like I got as stable, we brought in stable income, we were all happy, we all wanted to enjoy summer. It was just after the pandemic. I really wanted to go travel. I thought I valued money. I thought I chased money. I wanted a Lamborghini, but I really don't value that anymore. So that's why we slowed down. And now we have some solid managers, some really good managers. If anyone's met Chris, he's solid. We have a really good prepping team. So before as well, we used to have preppers prep all the content, then writers would write it, and then proofers would proof it. So there's 3 different teams. Now writers are getting trained to prep, so that cuts out a big process in the beginning, which means we can do faster turnaround times. What else we got? There's just so many new processes in place, like how we used to organize content is so different to what we do now. I'm making a full video on this, by the way, as well. I'm actually going to release a recruitment process too. So we have a full new recruitment process, so we can just recruit as many people as we want now. We know anyone that passes that test, we're pretty confident that we can just onboard them straight away. They then go through a little bit of a trial. But again, I'm going to release this so anyone can download this if they're interested. That'll be on the My Content Pal website. Yeah, recruiting people isn't an issue anymore. We have a full process in that. Managing people, chasing up content now isn't an issue. The only stumbling block we've got just now is proofing, which we're trying to overcome. Reason proofing is an issue is because we're churning out so much content, and we have our plans to have a lot of writers. We want to make sure it's consistent. So if someone comes to us and orders, so our biggest order we got was 6,600,000 words. Now, to keep that consistent across multiple writers is quite challenging. So the proofing team is essential for us. It's essential to have someone check the brief, check the grammar, check that the content's been optimized, and just make sure that we're consistently producing the same thing. That's quite hard because that person needs to have an eye for detail. They need to love content, and they need to get a serious buzz out of almost being a detective. So yeah, that's our only real stumbling block just now, but I think I've got that figured out. I just need to test it out.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned that you've been traveling, so you've been to Barcelona. Would you say that's had a negative or a positive impact on your business? Because obviously I've been with you in Barcelona and you have been networking, you've been going to meeting up with different people from SEO, you've been meeting up with different people. Would you say it's had a positive or a negative impact?
Man, so positive. Barcelona has changed my life. I would say, so I told you I had a lot of businesses, or a lot of business ideas before, a lot of things that failed. I actually freelanced at one point. Freelancing got me into so much debt because I couldn't do it. I was bad at it. I wasn't bad at SEO. I was bad at sales. I was bad at getting clients. I just couldn't do it. So I went through 6 months of making no money, if anything, making a stupid decision to get into debt
When was it?
that was the 6 months prior to Link City, where yeah, I was just so bad at it. The one thing that I did get out of that experience was learning to network. So what I basically had no people skills, I had no sales skills because I don't know what happened. I just kind of lost them all. So I went from being a DJ to just, I don't know. I really don't know what happened, man. Basically just couldn't connect with people. And that led me to start working on networking and stuff. And I worked on that and eventually got better at it, managed to pick up clients. But when I got to Barcelona, I was like, I'm going to network with everyone. So I didn't meet you until like the second week. So the first week, I joined like a co-working space. I just tried to meet as many people as possible. And I've got like, everyone laughs at it, but I've got like, I don't know what my phone is, but I've got this list in my phone with like 100 names until I get bored and stop, because I was meeting so many people that yeah, I just couldn't keep up with who they were and what they'd done. And for me, it just made it easier for me to go into like a new, I don't know, environment, meet new people, manage to small talk with them, figure out who they were. The other thing about Barcelona is I think it's quite a bold decision to get up and move somewhere on your own, especially. And Barcelona attracts people like that. And when you have somewhere that attracts bold people that make bold decisions, they tend to have a really interesting background. So I met people like you. I met a guy called Nick. So Nick was really interesting. So this guy called Nick, I don't want to name drop him just in case I've not asked him. So basically I met Nick in this co-working space and we just said hi. He laughed at something. I think I was falling asleep. I don't know. And he laughed at me. He's like, "You need a coffee?" I went, "Yeah, I do." And I had to jump on a call. So I jumped in this call. Didn't see him again. 2 days later, I was in this like, I don't know. It's called Lulu. I don't even describe it. It's basically like a little restaurant. It's a really cool place from Barcelona.
Cafe, yeah.
Go to a little cafe. That's a good way of putting it. And really, I know that's literally what it is. So that place has got really cool vibes. They make really healthy food, and yeah, I like it. Anyway, this guy starts waving at me, and I'm like, was waving it back. I'm like, who is this guy? Forgetting it's Nick. Didn't see his face. So anyway, 15 minutes later, it just clicks. I'm like, shit, that's Nick. So I was like, Nick, come sit down. He comes and sits down. And I'm like, man, I'm so sorry, I didn't recognize you at first. And he's like, no, it's fine. And we get into such a deep chat within minutes about life, about business, about like, at this point, I actually spent like 30, 40 minutes talking about you. Because at this point, because you're my friend first, and I've seen stuff in you that I thought, do you know what, you could be a good business partner. But I've had issues in the past with business partners. I've also hiring friends before, and me and him had a big long chat about you, your background, if this was a good decision. And he hyped it up. He broke it down. He's like, well, do you think this? Do you think that? And then that led me to phoning you and going, look, let's do this recruitment company. You're in recruitment. People keep asking me for jobs. Let's do this. Let's go meet. We went and met. We spoke about the idea. We both fell in love with the idea. And that's gotten us to where we're at now. If I didn't go to Barcelona, none of this would have happened. So I went to Barcelona. I've made some sick contacts. I became better at networking. Have I got business from Barcelona? Yeah, definitely. I've met cool people like Mark Roth. Charlie, I think it's Charlie, man, I can't remember his second name. I think it's Clark. I'm meeting people that I used to work with in the past. Andrea Crusco, I think he's the head of SEO for Typeform. There's an SEO conference next month that I mentioned. So Barcelona, it's changed my life. I think it's just going to get better. I'm definitely going to come back. And anyone that's working for themselves, or even just young, or at any point in your life, I would recommend traveling.
Yeah, 100%. I can even vouch for that as well. The amount of people I've met out here that I would actually call my family now. Like, we've got such a close knit amount of friends out here. As you said, we're just bumping into interesting people every weekend. We could be out at a bar, we could be out for food, we could be just at the gym, and there's just always somebody that's interesting, that has a different life path. And as Jordan Peterson says in the 12 Rules of Life, he has a rule where you should always listen to somebody as if they can teach you something. And that's something I've taken on board a big time since we've been out here. But so Craig, you're real big on personal branding, right? And you taught me a lot of stuff about building your Twitter up, building your LinkedIn. So talk to us a bit about that. And as well as that, traveling to Barcelona, obviously a lot of people, especially back in the UK with the weather going into winter now, people would be looking at that and glamorizing it. Tell us just the effect on the personal branding you've been doing.
I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but I do recognize it's important. Because one of the things I've realized from the beginning of my content, how people, they phone me up and they talk to me. There's not been that many people that have just went on the website and just bought. Pretty much all of our big clients have phoned me and they've wanted that time with me, and then they buy. So I say my content power link site marketing is pretty shit. All I do in Twitter is just tweet about my life. I just tweet what I think. Some of them are stupid. Some of them people might look at think I'm showing off. Like, I've got friends back home that think my Instagram is really showy. Like, oh, you're always out drinking, are you ever working? But man, I just enjoy my life, and I'm just tweeting it along the way. I'm actually making vlogs, so I was going through last night. One thing out here I was going through is just all the footage we're taking. And I'm going to compile it all. But yeah, I think people want to buy people. So if you're no one, then and you don't engage with people and you don't post stuff, and the thing is, like, SEO can be pretty boring. Like, let's face it, we're all doing the same thing. We might find some interesting case studies, or we might find something interesting or unique, but like, we don't want to just talk about SEO all the time. Like, so half the people I meet, we don't actually talk about business. Like, one of my biggest clients, the guy that I told you buys 6,600,000 words, when he phones me, we chat about 30-40 minutes. This isn't probably the best business decision, but we spend half our time talking about life, not the campaign, and then we wrap the call up talking about the campaign. So I would say, if you're not, I don't know how to put this. Yeah, if people like you, they'll buy. If they don't like you, they're probably not as inclined to buy. So become likable, I guess, and you'll make a lot of money. That's personal branding for me, I think.
Would you say, so the sales for My Content Pal, does that involve you picking up a phone, ringing up clients, or is it putting out tweets with information that they'll get back to, or is it word of mouth, or where do you get the majority of your sales?
Mate, I told you, like, our marketing's really bad. We've only just started putting out information, which is something I should have been doing from the beginning. And this just shows you, like when I had the business partner, my whole thing was I was meant to do marketing, but I ended up being, we were just so overloaded that I was doing everything. I was writing some content, I was prepping content, I was proofing stuff, I was on sales calls. We don't do any, like, we tried it once. I picked up the phone and phoned like 5 agencies in London and just got, like, the phone hung up on me every time, so I never did it anymore. We don't, I suppose on Facebook, I do message people and I go, hey, what you up to? What you doing for content? And I only do that to people in groups, though, if they've posted something about content. Repeat the question. I feel like I've kind of lost train of thought there.
So just then, where was the majority of your sales coming from? Is it from Twitter? Is it from picking up the phone? Is it from word of mouth?
Definitely
Twitter,
Twitter, which just shows you though, because like I look at my analytics and there's times where like I posted this one time I posted this picture of me and a girl, the girl on my profile picture, Caroline, she's like my best friend. A few people think she's my girlfriend, she's not.
yeah.
But me and Caroline at the top of a mountain, the amount of people that messaged me after that and went, Craig, when you're back, can we get content? Can we get a call to talk about content? Like I just thought that was mad, which kind of got me thinking about lifestyle posts actually make me more money than just selling to people. But I think you need a balance. So you need a balance of educational posts, lifestyle stuff, salesy stuff, and yeah, a combination of those three, which is what we haven't done, but we are doing that. And we also do have someone starting who's going to be our head of sales. So we are going to be a lot more aggressive with our sales strategy. But yeah, I think everyone in the industry, it doesn't matter if you're starting your own business or freelancing or even just looking, I reckon you got on Twitter, you make yourself likable. If you're interested, you'll get hired, you get more promotions, you get more clients, you'll make more money. I just think it's so good. Personal branding, everyone should be doing it.
Yeah, 100%. And it is something that you've been telling me to be pushing, and you've definitely taken a big importance to it over the last few months. So you've said you've hired hundreds of employees and writers. Take us through the hiring process, because I know you've also used VAs. You've got a few people in South Africa now. I think it's really interesting. So tell us a bit about
Okay, so just like most SEOs, like we have used VAs in Philippines. The only people that I hire for writers are from the UK. So anyone ordering content from us, like we only use UK writers. We had Canadian writers in the past because their first language is English, so it was fine. We've never actually had any US writers for some reason. I don't know why. And also we've not really. We tried to hire Canada, but it just nothing really came from it. So just UK. We are now looking for people that can do 10 to 20,000 words a week. We're looking for people that are professionals. They're not students anymore. I think the student model is really good for maybe people just getting started or a smaller agency. I think you could probably leverage that quite a bit. Yeah, South Africa was a really good move for me because the salaries in South Africa aren't as high in the UK. But also, my experience with people from South Africa is their work ethic is just insane. Like they're so grateful for the opportunity, and their first language is English, because we hire from Cape Town. They just really appreciate the opportunity. They grind, and as long as you do your due diligence and you vet them properly, like you're going to be in a good spot, and you're going to have a solid team. So right now we have like managers, a few marketing people. We just started in South Africa. Our writers are all from the UK. Our proofers, like we have a really, again, this is why we can't find proofers just now, because we're so strict in it. Like I think something only like 10% of the people that have done a proofing test have passed. Most writers fail the proofing test we've got, because just because they're a good writer doesn't mean they're good at spotting mistakes. Or if anyone's read a wall of text before, it really is hard to pick up and stuff, because you skip words, you go through it, like I could read a full sentence and probably just skip most of the words in it, and you just know what they're saying. And it's just like you can read some sentences backwards because you just know what it means. So writers do that as well, and you just need someone with a good eye for details. So hiring proofers is solid. And this is also why I tell people that have agencies that maybe have one or two writers, and they get those writers to proof their own work. And I just think it's a bad idea. I just think that's going to. Do you know what? I mean, if you're doing that, you're probably not going to find clients to pick up on it. But if you want really good quality stuff, I would always get other people proofing other people's work. And also, this is why I don't like AI. But actually, I don't feel like we should go into that in this call. But yeah, let's not go into that in this call. That's a full different topic. But yeah, does that answer your question?
And obviously, right, so you're very successful with both of your companies, and you're constantly going. I've seen your work ethic. You like to go off, you like to just do a lot of work, you like to get on the phone, like you do a lot of work. Where did the ambition stem from?
About to get emotional. I don't know, man. Since I left, I didn't really like my last few years in school. I didn't really go. I didn't really engage. I did my standard grades. Well, I tried to do a year of programming. I thought that was going to be my thing. I ended up quitting that. I then did a year of fine art, which I passed. But I think I only passed that because I was dating a girl in the same class. The second year, I ended up just quitting that as well. School wasn't for me. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought I valued money. So for me, I thought money could buy me like the happiness I wanted. I don't know. So for me, I wanted to get stupid rich. I wanted the yacht. I wanted the Lamborghini. And that did drive me for so long. And like, if you look at how much money my content pal Link City made, right? We've always made quite a nice amount of revenue, but we'd never really made good profit margins. And it was only until this year that we suddenly got that, and it came out of nowhere. So when that happened, I was actually like, I was like, whoa, what now? I was like, I've kind of got money now. I can kind of enjoy it. Like, if anyone looks at my Instagram, they'll see that I've had a really nice life this year. And that's not me gloating. It's just taken me so long to get there. And I've enjoyed it. And then I got a bit, not depressed, but I got a bit fed up with that. I was like, well, what now? And basically, if anyone knows who Gary Wilson is, I remember Gary, I phoned Gary, I was like, yo, man, you're the same age as me, you're a lot more successful than me, what now? And he picked me up, we went to Starbucks and we spoke about it, and he literally, the end result of that was, it's all in my head, I needed to get more gratitude, I needed to rethink what my values were and to have more goals, and I had to stop making financial numbers my goals, because that really wasn't what I wanted. What I wanted was what we have in Barcelona, with the family we've got in Barcelona. I was meeting new people. Like, I get so much fulfillment out of meeting new people. I don't know why. I just really enjoy it. I also like seeing people grow. So seeing people like Amelia grow, like seeing people like Chris like start learning SEO and stuff like that. Like, I just really enjoy that. And for me now, I'm not really chasing money, and what that's ended up now, I actually make more money now that I'm not chasing it. And I think it was Ryan Durrani that said to me, when you chase money, it runs away. And it's so true. I'm way less stressed now. I have a better work-life balance. And I don't know, I'm making more money. So for me, anyone that's just starting and wondering what they need to drive themselves to work in their business and to make more money, I would really think about what you value in life. I would set goals. Like, my big thing since talking to Gary is setting goals. And yeah, on ClickUp now, I've got like a full tab. So on ClickUp, which is a really good task management tool, I'd recommend everyone uses it. I've moved away from Teamwork, Asana, Monday. ClickUp is the best thing I've found, which is also what's helped me scale my content now, because in ClickUp it's just amazing. Again, I still never podcast, but in that I've got a bunch of goals set, and yeah, I'm just watching them every like week and just seeing how much I can tick off. Like, I've got fitness goals, I've got lifestyle goals, I've got travel goals, I've got goals for my family. Like, I got a bit like emotional earlier because last night I sent my mum videos of this place. I just like, I'd love to take you here, and she sent me a voice note which I forwarded to you. And basically the voice note, we could maybe crop it and put it on this if it's, I don't know, it might be interesting, might not. But basically, I've never really got this from my mum before, but she went, I'm really proud of you. And it's funny because, like, just to think 5 years ago when you sat in your room, and I used to tell everyone's gonna be a business guy, and I don't think many people believe me. So to hear my mum say next year we're going to come back to Andorra and chill, and I'm going to pay for the full thing, like, that drives me so much more. Like, that's what's driving me now. So after this call, like, all I'm thinking about today now is how do I get me, my mum to Andorra, because I'm going to make that happen. And I'd say that's what fuels this now.
Yeah, man. Beautiful. It's a big motivator. Lovely story. And so in SEO, not just building your business, have you got any mentors?
Yeah, loads. That's something I've always had. Like, from day one. So the first two investors in Venue Guru was a guy called Chris Kennedy and Colin Boyd. So both of them took a chance on me. Like I was a kid with really no experience. I just had the balls to go in and ask them for money, and they gave me it. And then, to be fair, if I were them, based on the actions I took, I wouldn't be happy with my investment. But I've, I, I'd like to think I've paid them back. They were my first two. So the story and how I met Chris is actually pretty mad. You know how I met Colin, went into a coffee shop. Colin obviously gave me my start in SEO, but he also mentored me for years. Colin's a bootstrapper, a really clever guy. He's always got a mad project on the go. And yeah, he's a good guy to know. We're going to get one on this podcast for sure. Then Chris, Chris was that I met Chris, which sounds weird. I used to play World of Warcraft when I was like 12, 13. And there's a thing called a guild in World of Warcraft. And I was in my uncle's guild and he was friends with Chris. And like 6 years after I stopped playing World of Warcraft, I phoned up, I was like, hey, and he was good friends with my uncle. So he just took a punt at me and that's how I got him. So he helped me a lot in e-com. Chris runs a good e-com business and they do third party logistics. So if you want a really cheap, high quality, trustworthy third party, whatever you call it, someone to deliver your stuff, I can give you that contact, Chris. You should reach out to them. They're called Fern Retail, based in Glasgow, and they'll store, pick, package your stuff. He was my e-com. He took me to places like Geneva for events. That was cool, man. Going business class to Geneva, like that also was one of the things that fueled me because it was a cool experience. Colin's wife, Andrea. I say Andrea was the person that really taught me how to project manage because in Boyd we had a massive contract with a big company which I don't want to name because I don't know if I'm allowed to. But basically I managed the links for the outreach side of things for them for like 7 countries. And Andrea, we had her on team and stuff like that. Andrea really mentored me and taught me how to do that, how to manage people, how to hire people. Grant, Colin's business partner, runs Boy Digital. He taught me how to hire people. We had to fire some people at some point. He taught me how to do that. Grant took me to business meetings. He took me over to Dublin once to go to a really big corporate contact. And that was an experience in itself as well. They were strong mentors. More recently, Craig Campbell, man, like Craig's again really helped me get my first few clients. I know he's given me shout outs along the way. He's a really good, genuine guy. Like we went to conferences, he's brought me to masterminds. I got a lot of value out of Craig. He does private coaching. I'd recommend anyone like gives it a shot. Who else is there? There's loads of people, like loads of people. I feel bad for not name dropping anyone now, but mentorship, like I feel like everyone needs one. At every point in your career, you can find someone. And also, I found that like even if someone doesn't maybe have the same success as you can still get value from them. So even if they're not called a mentor, I would still give them the time of day, trying to help them. I've definitely gotten value back from some of my clients. And some of my clients have taught me some stuff. Yeah, there's some really cool people out there. Give everyone a chance and just see what happens.
Very good. And so, correct, for anybody just starting off in the SEO industry, what advice would you give them? And where do you see the SEO industry going?
Definitely growing for sure. I would say, right, one of the big mistakes I made was wanting to go freelance too soon. That caused me a lot of months of unnecessary pain, like almost depression, because like at the same time I'd broken multiple bones, so I couldn't leave the house. I was in a really bad spot. Do not go freelance prematurely. Get a job, work your way up the corporate ladder. One thing I feel like I missed out on was enjoying corporate life. I don't think I can ever do that now just because of where I'm at. Like I just think it could be fun. Like I know people that work for Pretty Little Thing and they've now, I know one girl in particular who got a job at Boy Digital. She then got a job at Pretty Little Thing and she's worked her way up. She now works for the Hut Group. And man, the parties that Pretty Little Thing like throw during summer and the network she's probably built from those jobs, like she'll make a lot from that. And she'll probably have a nicer life as well. Whereas you don't meet a lot of people freelancing. It's a very lonely path. So definitely work out really hard, do your own research outside of your work. Something I did, I played about and built my own sites. Even if you didn't make me money, I still learned to do things. I'd watch videos, do courses. Like, if you really put the grind in, you can grow quick, because this industry doesn't have, I would say, I don't want to put this and put people off, but look, there's definitely gaps in the market for skilled, talented people that are hungry. So, and that you're very hireable if you've got those qualities. You can make a lot of money. I think right now there's people paying silly amounts over what they should be paying for people, just because they're looking for people with experience. Everyone's hiring just now, so get in. You could get a job as a junior just now, smash a bunch of courses, build your own sites on the side, work 14-hour days for 3 to 6 months, and I promise you, you could very quickly get a senior position if you can show you know how to do certain things. Maybe not at a corporate company or a really prestigious company, but you could get a job at a boutique agency paying really well if you can do a bunch of cool stuff. Like, well, there's loads of different roles in SEO, but you know what I mean. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's perfect. Right, we'll finish off with the last question. So, Craig, I know you're into reading. We've switched books a few times. You've given me some, I've given you some. If you could read one book, so the one book that you've learned the most of, doesn't have to be SEO, could be business, could be life, could be, I don't know, whatever weird stuff you're into. You're into boxing, not that that's weird, taxidermy, whatever. If you could recommend one book, what is it? Why?
You know what this is going to be. I want to mention it and give all my competitors it. Nah, the best book I've read that is one of the things that changed the course of my content pal was Scaling Up. So it's called Scaling Up, Mastering the Arts of the Rockefeller's Habits. I don't really want to go into the book because I'll just butcher it. So just check it out, look it up online. It's, for me, it's like it's the only book I've got with me here. And my plan is tonight to sit exactly where I'm at just now, and just read it. It's like a handbook for scaling your business. That taught me to put in, like, it's just such a good book. Just check it out, honestly. But that's only good for people that have an agency or something like that. Yeah, there's tons of good books, man. See the 6 months that was freelancing, I was trying to read a book a week. So there's loads of good books. All sorts of good books. I'd say as well, if you're a new business, and this is something that I should have implemented, but there's a book called Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Subi. So if you're a new business in marketing, check that book out, because it's a lot of what's in that book is what we're now applying to my content now. So check that out too.
Perfect. Right. Well, I think we will end there. It's been a very interesting podcast. Cheers for having you on. I mean, from now on, you will be the co-host. But for doing the first podcast, I think it went pretty well. Yeah, definitely a lot of information there. And it's nice hearing different stories, what path people are on. But yeah, man, here's to the first podcast. It's been great.
No, let's do it. We've got some cool guests coming on as well, though. I'm really excited. Like, who we got? We've got, like, I think James Gregory. I think he'll be interesting. I definitely want to. Should we name drop? Should we tell people who's coming on so they can watch out for it?
Yeah, man, do it. I coming on next week.
I think getting Colin Boyd on, like, so me and Colin, we used to go for, like, me and Colin have had a really good relationship in the beginning, and we used to go to, like, the pub every Friday. We'd have a few beers after work, and we would just chat about random ideas, business ideas and stuff like that, and we get really good at it. But I also learned a lot about his life, and he's had a really interesting, like, beginning in SEO, because he started back in the days where I don't even think it was called SEO. So he's been to Thailand, done all sorts. So he'll be a really interesting one, because I wouldn't say Colin's really that well known. Well, he's probably quite well known on Twitter. Probably quite well known on LinkedIn stuff. But yeah, he'll be interesting. Who else we got? There's quite a few cool people. We've got Joshua George. Is Josh George said he's going to come on?
He hasn't said to me yet, but we'll definitely get him on. Yeah. So basically, guys, the reason we're starting this podcast and the reason it's named SEO for Hire is myself and Craig have actually started a company called SEO for Hire, which is a recruitment company that specializes in SEO. We've reached out to plenty of clients who own SEO agencies, and we've seen that there is a gap in the market to find real SEO candidates that can do the actual job once they're put into the job. And Yeah, so basically we're going to start this. I have a recruitment and sales background. Craig's got the SEO. We're going to try and do not a very heavy vetting process, but we're gonna get the candidates to the top notch, and we're going to hopefully place them within SEO agencies and grow from that way. Yeah, no, I'm super excited for it. Craig, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'd say like, look, we're not going to be a recruitment company that's a vulture, just start spamming people on LinkedIn. Look, that's not us. We really want to make this different. So we're only going to do SEO. We won't ever do anything different. We're literally just staying to SEO. We're going to specialize in that. We're going to have a vetting process, but we're also going to look after the candidates too, because look, I've seen the horror stories. I know what some agencies are like. We're going to make sure both the candidate and the client are looked after. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. We have loads of ideas, everything from training to onboarding to vetting to like all sorts of stuff. So like just stay tuned. We're going to produce a lot of content around this. And yeah, if that interests you, reach out.
Yeah,